Well, there you go. Invincibles? Maybe. This could be, and is panning out to be, a very, very special season for Leinster. And maybe they are on the cusp. And they won't be taking anything for granted. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. But they are potentially the greatest club team we've ever seen this particular season. I say Invincibles when they were just beaten handily out in South Africa. However, that was a bunch of kids they sent there. And that is the only time this Leinster team have been defeated all season long. They've had a draw, but they've only been beaten once. And yesterday against Toulouse, they showed pure class in Dublin. I felt privileged to be there. I thought it would be a lot closer. I was actually probably disappointed that the spectacle wasn't quite what I'd built it up to be. But Toulouse were just dominated again. And that is what makes that all the more amazing, because you can look at last year's semi-final and this year's semi-final with similar scores. Both times Leinster scored over 40 points. The difference between last year and this year is Toulouse you can't make excuses for Toulouse. They won't be making excuses for themselves, but last year you could sort of explain it. They had that quarter-final against Munster that went to penalties after extra time, and then 1 week later they were in the semi-final, so they had to do a lot of travelling. They had to travel all the way through the knockout period because of some COVID cancellations, and so they arrived in Dublin a bit undercooked, a bit under-rested, probably quite leggy, and they were dominated. This year, they were absolutely dominated again, except all their players rested last week, and they've been talking about playing Leinster in the semi-final for weeks now, so they've had plenty of time to do all their planning, plenty of time to do all their preparation, to rest and get everything right, and still they turned up in Dublin and they got their pants pulled down by, as I say, potentially the greatest club team we've ever seen. And if Leinster go on and get that fifth star above their crest on their chest, it will be poetic in the sense that Stuart Lancaster is moving on, and he's been an important part. Johnny Sexton, legend of the club, one of the greatest we've ever seen. He is going to be moving on. Other players as well, and they absolutely have to win. If Leinster don't win the final again, and I'm just about to sit down and watch Exeter v La Rochelle, so we'll see who I suspect the opponent will be. La Rochelle in a repeat of last year's final. If they don't win again, then I think this whole period of 5 years, they haven't won it in 4 years, but this whole little last year 5-year period will be a failure. They absolutely have to win, and it feels like destiny is landing just when it needs to, as a result of a lot of hard work. And when you look back at previous seasons when Leinster have been beaten by La Rochelle and by Saracens, it was that big packs, direct running, big men that have kind of undone them, attacking the breakdown. What was absolutely noticeable from the game yesterday is that Leinster's pack dominated Toulouse. At the breakdown, they looked after their own ball and monstered them. And then when Toulouse tried to have a maul or to run direct, Leinster repelled it. And so they've learnt their lessons from previous years. And guys like James Ryan, if you were picking a Lions team today, he'd be straight in at second row. He has developed his game massively. He always seemed like a slightly underweight second row. He feels like a big man now. And when teams win tournaments, you always have players that are in their peak within a team when they achieve their big performances. And with Leinster, Josh van der Fleer, one of the best players on the planet, and there's a few like him, Caelan Doris being another, there's a few, Hugo Keenan being another, that they've got a few guys who are reaching their peak form at exactly the right time to win a big championship. So I was massively impressed by Leinster. What I'm going to do now is show you some of my behind-the-scenes video that I took when I was reporting yesterday in Dublin for BT Sport. I'm back in Manchester now. I've had a chance to have a little lazy morning and then back on it thinking about the rugby. But I won't forget yesterday in a hurry. Very, very special occasion to be part of. Felt privileged to be there. And so I thought the very least I could do is try and share some of what I was seeing and hearing and thinking with you. So if you appreciate the content on the channel, I'm Tim, this is Egg Chasers. Please hit subscribe. I'd really love it if you did. Leave your comments. Well done, Leinster. And yeah, here's what happened yesterday. I am absolutely buzzing for this. So it's currently 1:20 on the day of the Champions Cup semi-final between Leinster and Toulouse at the Aviva Stadium in Dublin, and we have got two of the most decorated teams in club rugby history. Toulouse with a 5th star, Leinster desperately chasing that 5th star on their chest, having not won it since 2018, come close and been down by Saracens and by La Rochelle. But of course you've got last year's semi-final where Toulouse got absolutely pumped by Leinster, but you get the sense that this counts for absolutely nothing on this game today. This is a one-off, this is absolutely massive. I'm just looking over there and you might be able to see behind me the pyrotechnics are on site. Hopefully there's going to be some fireworks on the pitch as well. It feels big. Where do I think this game's going to be won and lost? The speed of Leinster's ball is what they base their game on. They have the fastest ruck speed out of any team in this competition, and Toulouse have to slow that down. And Jack Willis and Francois Croce, if Toulouse win, are going to have massive games. But I think from Toulouse's point of view, where can they cause damage? Well, everyone's going to talk about Antoine Dupont, and obviously he is an absolute game changer, make no mistake. On the big screen you might just be able to see Leinster are arriving at the stadium. I think, looking at my clock, that's slightly early. Weren't expecting them for a few minutes more. Maybe they're dead keen. But I think Toulouse can cause Leinster some damage in their maul. And also the big thing you've got to say is, no James Lowe, we knew about that already. No Johnny Sexton, we knew about that already. But no Robbie Henshaw as well. And those 3 Ireland internationals in this game could be significant. That's a bit of a change, that. I think that does swing the pendulum in Toulouse's favour a little bit more. I still don't think by enough. I think Leinster will have enough to reach the final. But make no mistake, this could go either way. And this is going to be absolutely massive. So the players are right there in the tunnel. This is the broadcast area. Just as you turn down right from the tunnel. And we have today RTE.
That's great.
beIN Sports from France. ITV.
John Freeney. Yeah, I would love John.
And BT Sport. That's me. And there's the camera I'll be doing my interviews on. Clement Poitrenaud and Leo Cullen in just a moment. Nice to see you, Leo.
Well.
We're still night out again there, Tim.
Can't hear myself correctly, but I'm sure there's someone in second there. We go 1, 2, 2, Leo Cullen. It needs to be where the mic check 1, 2, 3.
Happy to sir? Happy to go?
Leo, you're well used to playing at this stage, but this game, this week, feels a little bit special. How does it feel for you and within the Leinster camp?
I think this is what you work towards all year, isn't it? So, there's so many twists and turns in this tournament. That's, there's 4 pool games, which is basically it's sort of organising the seeds, really, isn't it? So, but they were so important, all those pool games. I think we started off with Racing away when we had a lot of disruption trying to get there, and you've actually felt, because the way the tournament was being mapped out, you sort of felt like this was slipping away from us. So we worked incredibly hard during that pool stages to get home seeding, and here we are. So it's great. Down to the last 4 teams, we're at home. We're against the most successful team in the competition, the history of the competition. So it doesn't get much better, does it really? So, but this is what we've all wanted. It's been a nervy all week. And everyone's just excited about getting out there at this point. So, a lot of respect for Toulouse, as I said, but hopefully it'll be a great occasion.
Cheers.
Thanks, Seth. Appreciate it.
One more.
Thank you.
Can you even hear me at the minute? I'm not sure. It's starting to get quite noisy, and we are currently 45 minutes to kick off. Players are just starting to come out for their warm-up. Some of the non-playing Toulouse players are there. Anthony Jalonch, Charlie Falmawina. A few players are already on the field. Feels good. So in my excitement, I forgot to hit record on this for the Clement Poitrenaud interview. Maybe I was just distracted by his devilish good looks. Very handsome fella. But he played in this game 20 years ago. Sorry, not this game, the final of the Heineken Cup 20 years ago here, when he won his first Heineken Cup title. And at the time, I think it was Toulouse's second or third, but he seemed quite confident, and definitely was talking about them being much better prepared than they have been before. Jack Conan and Jameson Gibson Park, big game from them needed. there is Charlie Natai. Make no mistake, that guy is a class player. But he hasn't played since January. Huge challenge. One thing I remember thinking when I watched England versus France at Twickenham in the Six Nations, obviously I was disappointed about England's result, playing poorly, but I felt lucky to have sat in a stadium and watched one of the greatest players of all time in Antoine Dupont play. And I'm just getting that sense now. Just a little chill went down my back as I looked up, and you can see Antoine Dupont out there on the field. Whatever the result today, he's one of the most special rugby players ever, and he is going to have an impact on this game. Can Leinster limit that impact though? That is their challenge. But then again, if they put too much focus on him, opportunities open up elsewhere for other players.
Toulouse, the top 14 league leaders, the 5 in a row European far side, and the finish is on here for Toulouse, in for the early try. Ramos, and he's been yellow carded here with an advantage. Porter reaching and getting there. Leinster over on this near side with Van der Fleer. What a pass from Van der Fleer, and he might get back again. He won't. Conan, as you mentioned, Donald, damage could have been a lot deeper, and then it's just thrown right at the face of Jack Willis, and there's no stopping Dan Sheehan from there. Grau, they're a yard short, but they're over. That would be the biggest irony of all if he's the one to go over, and he is. Josh Van der Fleer, McGrath, and Jenkins is over, and that is surely that for Leinster. Heavy hitting European Cup semi-final. They've come out on top by 41 points to 22.
So there we go, another day's work done, and a chance to reflect on, well, absolute beatdown by Leinster in a semi-final of a Heineken Champions Cup. I did not see that coming. I definitely saw a Leinster win coming, did not see the manner of the victory, and as a result I think I'm walking away, yeah, massively impressed by Leinster, but slightly underwhelmed, I think is my feeling. I'm just more disappointed that Toulouse didn't make it the game that I built it up to be, as you'll see from the video in the channel. Potentially the greatest club game ever. Certainly didn't pan out that way, and I think Toulouse that'll sting when they wake up tomorrow morning, because win, lose, draw, they just did not bring anything like the best of themselves, and that's what makes that occasion all the more frustrating with players like Dupont and Untamak and Ramos. They didn't play how those players can play, and they've only got themselves to the blame for the manner and the scale of the defeat. Unnecessary yellow cards, penalties, ill discipline cost them massively, and we saw it in the quarter-final and now in the semi-final as well. Leinster just have this knack of going through the gears and just hitting like a turbo button when they want to. They did it against Leicester, and now they've done it against Toulouse. They were immense in those periods where they had the man advantage. Very, very special. I think there was a couple of moments Toulouse will feel aggrieved by. I think Andrew Porter should have been yellow carded for lifting beyond the horizontal in a tackle in the first half. Sorry, I just had to cross the road and work out where I was going. Where was I? Yeah, the Netty yellow card for Toulouse. I don't understand it. I mean, I get why the yellow card was given and the explanation of the referees. However, what I don't get is Josh van der Fleer unnecessarily running from 5 metres to a ruck that was already lost and running in with a chicken wing arm, so no wrap, which is illegal. Let me put it like this, Toulouse have got far more that they can control, which they completely messed up on. That they don't need to go blaming a referee or worrying about that, and it wouldn't have made any difference to the result. Leinster were absolutely dominant, and let's just put it in perspective. They're without Johnny Sexton, Robbie Henshaw, James Lowe, my brain's going dead, it's been a long day. Oh, Ronan Kelleher and others. And for most other teams, that would blow a massive hole in your side, wouldn't it? Leinster, on we go. Charlie Nate hasn't played since January, comes in and he's immense. I mean, that says a lot about a team which have so much cohesion, and they're a very, very special outfit. Will they go at one better and get that 5th start? We suspect in a rematch of last year's final. There feels a bit more steel in what they're doing and in what they're up to. So I suspect if they play anything like that, then yes, the answer is they will. So I'm going to sign off from the Aviva Stadium. Destination of the final in 3 weeks' time. If you've got to this point on the video, and even though I'm in the middle of Dublin saying this, hit subscribe on the channel, yeah?